Welcome back to Binge Watchers, where today we are recapping the hit miniseries, Extinct. The man jolts awake, floating in a lake, a red drone buzzing overhead. Flashes of his family, spaceships, and gunfights blur his vision. Regaining his senses, he swims to shore, the drone, Ezra, tracking him. As he checks his sanity, cries for help pierce the air. Two more figures emerge from the water, equally clueless. On the shore, Fina identifies wreckage from a warship called Kick, sparking Ezra's memory of an invasion. Among the debris, they find an ancient car hinting at a long-buried road. They realize they all died in different eras. Abram, 67 but appearing 25, learns they were resurrected by water-dwelling sparks to revive humanity. Earth is a wasteland, 400 years post-human extinction. Ezra, now on a mission, leads them to gather sparks. They set off, bewildered, towards a supposed settlement. They encounter ancient arches, and Abram, invigorated by his youthful body, touches strange symbols, triggering a vision. Suddenly, gunfire downs the drone and injures Abram. They flee and ambush their pursuer, Jax, who dismisses the settlement's existence. With a skin rider fused to him, Jax needs the sparks. Fina's skill with a weapon keeps him in check. Abram insists the symbols showed him space's vastness, but Jax mocks him before escaping and attacking Ezra. Fina swiftly disarms him, and they bind Jax despite his claims of knowing Ezra's brother. They press on, secrets tightening their bond. The team finds shelter in a cave, stumbling upon others with glowing parasites on their necks, including Ezra's brother, Silas. As night falls, the resurrected people in the cave discuss recreating human beings and ponder where the aliens got the initial material. Abram's wound becomes inflamed, and he's lowered into a pond where sparks are released. By morning, he emerges miraculously healed. Fina wrestles with why she was chosen by the aliens out of millions. The group sees the high walls of a settlement, but skin riders with glowing necks catch up. Ezra stays behind to delay them, recognizing Silas among the attackers. Fina and Abram reach the settlement's walls. Just as they face capture, the gates open, and a yellow drone neutralizes the skin riders, bringing Ezra into the settlement. They find rows of graves where settlers rest. The drone leads them to an abandoned military base where previous settlers lived. Meanwhile, skin riders capture an escapee, Duncan, whose glowing companion has stopped functioning. Silas promises to fix it. The group learns the settlers died from a new virus still spreading. The drone asks them to release sparks into water to create a vaccine using ingredients from a living lake. Fina starts bleeding from her nose and stays behind to repair a damaged red drone. The men head to the lake. Ezra tries to understand the system that resurrected them, controlled by unknown sparks. At the lake, they release sparks into the water. Back at the base, Ezra's wife Lynn appears to Fina, offering help before vanishing. Ezra confesses one of the skin riders is his brother during the alien invasion. He recalls signaling Silas as a worthless child. Now he wants to apologize and retrieve him. Lynn's hologram reappears, helping Fina repair the red drone. The yellow drone warns of approaching skin riders. Ezra intercepts Silas but gets surrounded. Awakening alone with Silas, Ezra learns his brother stopped his transformation to a skin rider, wanting him to join voluntarily. Silas, once a nobody, now leads and mentors the skin riders, connected telepathically by their companions. Silas falls asleep suddenly, signaling Ezra to leave. Ezra meets Abram in the forest, explaining his plan to save his brother. They return to the lake where the sparks have prepared 3 vaccine capsules. After taking their doses, they give the third to Fina, whose condition is worsening. Lynn asks the red drone to show her someone dear to Fina, and Duncan appears. Fina regains consciousness after receiving the vaccine. The next day, Abram discovers a blocked room with a glowing obelisk. In the forest, Silas and Duncan argue about the companion controlling the skin rider's thoughts, which Silas believes is slavery. Abram learns hieroglyphs revealing that the unknown host offered weapons against the skin riders in exchange for more people. Ezra goes to the forest to excavate. Silas brings Duncan to Jax's training fights, where Duncan unexpectedly defeats Jax. Silas explains that humans react faster than skin riders because the latter have a signal delay due to their companions. To gain an advantage, Silas plans brain surgery to reduce this delay, but needs a working drone and a test subject. The yellow drone leads Ezra to the excavation site, which the skin riders soon discover. Ezra unearths a weapon, but the skin riders take it. The weapon activates, killing one skin rider, and Ezra escapes in the chaos. Fina asks the red drone why unknown beings are resurrecting humanity and requests Duncan's revival, unaware he's already a skin rider. Ezra brings the weapon to the obelisk, seeking answers before killing innocent inhabitants. The drones promise to resurrect his family if he complies. That night, Fina finds Ezra at the obelisk. They notice the weapon has opened. The obelisk instructs Fina to go to the lake for new people, but skin riders intercept her. Abram learns from the drone that the weapon destroys the crystalline structure connecting the companion to the human brain, essential for eliminating the parasite. Fina sees Lynn emerging from the lake and helps her ashore. When Jax appears, the red drone neutralizes him. Duncan captures the girls, failing to recognize Fina. Lynn orders Fina to fetch her husband, but falls into the hands of skin riders who return her to the lake. Jax heals her leg, but a wild girl rescues Lynn, taking her to a forest dwelling where she provides food and shoes. The girl, however, cannot speak. Fina races to the base, telling Ezra his wife Lynn is alive. Despite the yellow drone's warning that skin riders take people forever, Ezra is hell-bent on rescuing her. Jax finds the wild girl's home, but Lynn's gone, hiding in the forest. Ezra struggles to disable the force field, trapped by the obelisk. Fina reveals she saw Duncan, now a skin rider, fearing Lynn's fate. In the forest, Jax tracks them, ready to kill the girl, but Lynn stops him. Silas removes a crystal from a dead skin rider and sends it to the ancestor, then brings Lynn. Abram, speaking with the obelisk, realizes he lived there before, confirmed by his own notebook. The yellow drone leads Abram to graves, revealing they've all been resurrected, including Ezra. Abram seeks the progenitor's location, but only Jax knows. Diving into a bottomless lake, Jax emerges in a cave. Silas tries convincing Ezra of a better life. Lynn's escape is discovered. Duncan sends skin riders on a false trail to save Ezra. Silas shows Ezra the power of a companion, revealing painful truths. Fina and Duncan infiltrate the camp, seizing weapons. Jax learns about the drone from the ancestors. Duncan and Fina find Lynn. They plan their escape, but Silas and the skin riders ambush them. Duncan shoves Fina to safety as they prepare to fight. Abram races to the obelisk, which lets the men through but demands Duncan stay in the yard until they figure out how to free him from the parasite. The ancestors are worried about Jax's hatred for humans, advising him to find a compromise since humans are better carriers than kicks. Meanwhile, Duncan reveals his companion is gaining strength and confirms Kylie is alive. Sparks rejuvenate adults but leave children at their death age. He lost his wife and child, Fina, who doesn't remember. Abram explains they're the next generation of the revived. The first generation lies in graves. Jax wipes human memories from the red drone. Fina frees her husband, but as she sleeps, Duncan's companion gets a signal from Silas and heads to the bunker. Abram confesses to Ezra that the drone showed him a woman he saw before the invasion, hinting someone knew about it and offered help. Duncan locks the drone and attacks Abram, then heads to the obelisk. Despite resisting, he screams in frustration. Ezra hears and rushes, but Duncan deactivates the force field and locks the doors. Ezra and Fina barricade the bunker. Duncan's companion reveals everything was for a hidden weapon and promises to disclose Kylie's location if they surrender the bunker to the skin riders. The skin riders start breaking down the door. Silas, through Duncan, offers to trade the bunker for Ezra's daughter, who survived the disease. A debate leads to deciding to deactivate the parasite using Lynn's medical knowledge. Jax returns, upset with Silas for not infecting Ezra earlier, but Silas insists on continuing work on the drone. Lynn discovers the companion can inflict great pain. Ezra and Abram deduce survivors buried the fallen since the settlement existed for at least 10 years. Ezra remembers the bunker has electricity. They use it to shock and kill a skin rider. Abram finds Yellow. They realize Duncan is a transmitter and move him. Ezra tells Duncan to tell his brother he loves him, confusing Silas. Yellow scans Duncan and finds the parasite has taken over, and even Sparks can't save him. Abram recalls a woman with a drone and knowledge symbols. Yellow shows her image, and Ezra recognizes his mother, Eleanor. Silas is about to break down more doors, but suddenly heads to the cemetery. Jax follows, reminding him he's not human and shouldn't care about graves. Silas is arrested. In the bunker, Yellow confesses that Eleanor helped revive the human race. Duncan isn't lying. Kylie was in the settlement, and only he knows where the survivors are now. Duncan's companion is tranquilized and tied to a table. He wakes up, points to the survivors' direction on a map, and mentions a wild girl. Yellow finds his hidden weapon. The people notice the silence outside, kill the sentinels, and Ezra and Lynn set out to find Kylie. Jax activates a drone to strip Silas of his human personality and learns about Ezra and Lynn in the forest. He sends skin riders after them. Fina admits to Duncan she's ready to kill him to save her loved one, but Yellow knocks him out. Duncan wakes in the cemetery, relieved Fina couldn't harm him, but Yellow has implanted a beacon in him. Ezra and Lynn find the wild girl and ask for her help. Silas regains consciousness, learning he preserved his personality and suppressed the parasite. Ezra and Lynn realize they're being followed. Arrows fly from the rocks, killing the skin riders. Survivors approach. Jax leaves Duncan on guard and follows Ezra and Lynn. Rowan, the settlement leader, scans them for safety and leads them into the camp. She warns they don't truly know their daughter, who's now an adult and doesn't recognize them as parents. Abram and Fina dig up a broken drone to retrieve data. Rowan explains Ezra and Lynn died defending the previous camp. Silas killed Lynn. Fina connects Yellow to the drone's memory, showing past events. Red notices Silas in pain. At that moment, a bloody Justin orders Duncan to rush to an ambush site, but it's a hologram. Silas escapes. The real Jax finds the ambush site and orders a search. In the bunker, Yellow transports Fina and Abram into a virtual reality of the past. Jax reveals Silas attacked his friends near the old kick ship after developing a growth on his neck. Back in their harsh reality, everyone realized this was the first case of companion infection. Yellow explained the parasites created a structure like fungal spores, and Silas had likely inhaled them. These parasites were brought by the Kicks, their original carriers. Amid this chaos, a boy named Thomas fell into Justin's hands. Silas was in agony, and Red tried to help, only to spot Duncan rushing towards the bunker to detain Silas. Red led Silas another way. Thomas then discovered he was infected. His absence raised alarms at camp. Rowan called a council and Ezra advised fleeing. If Thomas exposed the camp, they were doomed. Yellow revealed Abram's plan to create a virus to kill the parasite, an idea from the obelisk. Heated debates ensued. Lynn suggested splitting up. Those with the virus would stay in the bunker, weakened. Rowan opposed. Abram realized he caused deaths in the caves. Ezra urged an escape, staying behind to defend them. Silas reached the bunker, tricked Duncan into a workshop, and locked him inside. Abram, guilt-ridden, confronted the obelisk, which manifested a second Abram. This apparition claimed their creators believed they were saving the settlement, but the virus was slower than the parasites. It vanished as Ezra and Lynn's voices emerged. Fina opened the doors, revealing Silas. The drone confirmed they needed Silas to destroy the ancestor. Silas lost consciousness and was brought inside. Ezra, Lynn, and young archers set an ambush, but Thomas appeared, injuring Kylie's fiancé, Nico. Ezra killed Thomas, finding a parasite. Jax and his people joined the battle. Red put Silas into a coma. Lynn treated Nico, fearing a parasite larva in the wound. The boy demanded death per Lynn's rules. Duncan called for help while Yellow explained the parasite was killing Silas to keep the progenitor's secret. Kylie helped her father patrol, recalling the past. This angered Ezra, who feared human attachments could overpower the parasites. Returning to the cave, Ezra proposed his family take another route while he guarded them. After arguments, they headed to the second exit. Abram entered Silas's mind, finding a church, a sanctuary in Silas's mind. Silas wouldn't wake, but Abram described the way to the progenitor's lake, the parasite's energy source. Without destroying it, humanity wouldn't survive. Ezra resorts to trickery, and Kylie slays a lurking skin rider. The father bids everyone farewell and stays in the cave. Meanwhile, Abram and Fina hatch a plan to destroy the progenitor. Yellow explains the weapon's 3 parts. 2 are standalone weapons, but the top part is too dangerous for humans, leaving only the lower part, which needs a human personality to function. Realizing Silas is crucial, Abram seeks his help. Fina, reflecting on her promise to Duncan, arms herself to confront him. Just as she reaches the workshop, a skin rider frees Duncan. He reminds her she can't kill him and leaves. Abram convinces Silas to help, while Jax attacks, knowing Ezra is the camp's only defender. He orders his men to engage Ezra and follows Lynn, Kylie, and a weakening Nico. Ezra sets up an ambush, taking out skin riders and following his wife. Nico, transforming and threatening Lynn, is stopped by Kylie. When Nico raises his sword, Kylie shoots him. Ezra catches up, unaware Jax is watching. Learning of Silas's betrayal, Jax leaves. Silas tells Abram to take his crystal after his death and insert it into the weapon. Abram, confused but grateful, says goodbye as Silas dies. Jax catches Duncan by the lake, ordering an ambush and planning to dive to the progenitor. Lynn and Ezra bury Nico, while Fina and Abram bury Silas. The groups meet, unaware of a black drone heading for a spacecraft. Abram reveals the plan to Ezra, who refuses to endanger his family. Yellow vaccinates Kylie, explaining it was made by sparks. Abram, losing faith in the obelisk but believing in Silas, shares the weapon's operation. Ezra laughs at the plan. Abram and Fina try to convince Ezra of their mission's importance, but he remains unconvinced. Tormented by guilt, Ezra's family rushes after Kylie, who has secretly left for the progenitor's lake. The group reunites, falling into an ambush by skin riders. A fierce battle ensues, leaving Abram seriously wounded, but Kylie has sparks, ready to release them into the lake. Duncan bursts from the water, guns blazing, hitting Lynn and Kylie. Fina shields herself and rushes to him, then they vanish underwater. Ezra releases sparks, bringing the wounded into the water. Fina resurfaces, beaten, unable to defeat Duncan. Ezra dives, finding a wounded Duncan, who apologizes before passing out. Ezra discovers a glowing object with crystals, assembles a weapon with Silas's crystal, and is confronted by Jax, who despises humans. They fight fiercely. Just as Jax gains the upper hand, Duncan revives and attacks him. Ezra fits the final crystal, meets Silas inside the progenitor, and activates a bomb. The progenitor is destroyed, leaving Jax devastated. Ezra emerges, finding his loved ones healed. A black drone heads to the spaceship where Eleanor and Duncan await, knowing humanity now has a chance. This isn't just about alien battles. It's about the profound value of human life in rebuilding civilization. If you like this video and want to watch our recap of the TV miniseries Ascension, then click on the screen now and prepare to be blown away.